In this video, we are going to be exploring unit rates and rates. So next to where you plan on pasting this into your journal, go ahead and write the following definitions. First of all, what is a rate? A rate is a special ratio with measurements with different units. So when we looked at ratios, we looked at some common ones like comparing the students in a class, like comparing boys to girls. With a rate, that comparison between those two values are going to be different units. So some common rates that you might see would be miles and hours, and then dollars and pounds, like the cost of things or the speed of things. Now, a unit rate is a very special type of rate where the denominator has a value of 1, or the second item in the comparison has a unit value of 1. So what does that mean? So if we were to say a car is traveling 60 miles per hour, this is being expressed as a unit rate. The first thing you're comparing is the miles, how far it can go, and then per 1 hour. So in 1 hour, how far can it go? As opposed to the rate, which might be the car can travel 120 miles in 2 hours, right? That would be the rate. The unit rate, you simplify it down to 1 hour. Same here. We have the cost of apples is $1.50 per pound. The first unit, dollars, or the price. The second unit is then for how much, or the weight, so per pound, and that would be 1 pound. So here we have a unit rate, $1.50 per pound. Now that we also can then express that as then the rate in general, like if you were to buy 2 pounds, it would cost $3. So the rate for $3, you have 2 pounds of apples. The unit rate is then per 1 pound of apples. So finding a unit rate can be really effective in helping you make decisions and comparing values of different items. All right, so back to our guided notes. So unit rate is then that ratio of a quantity to a value of 1 unit. So here, let's go through some examples. So a movie theater is selling 4 bags of popcorn for $16.50. All right, well, that's useful if you are buying 4 bags of popcorn, but what if you just want 1 bag of popcorn? You want to know what is the unit rate, or maybe you want to compare the value of one movie theater to another and how much they're selling their popcorn for. So we then could set that up as a ratio in its fractional form. So $16.50 for 4 bags of popcorn. And I want to get it into its unit rate form. So an equivalent fraction or an equivalent ratio where my denominator, instead of being 4, I want it to be 1. Because we know a unit rate has the denominator value of 1. So to go from 4 to 1 in an equivalent ratio situation, I need to then divide it by 4. So if I divide my denominator by 4, I need to divide my numerator by 4. So $16.50 divided by 4 comes out to be approximately $4.13. We can just round there. So my unit rate is $4.13 per bag. So each bag costs $4.13. This is my unit rate. Okay, so we have another example of unit rates with speed. So here it takes 3.5 hours or 3.5 hours to travel 140 miles from city A to city B. So here we have a little map and you're going from there to there. It takes 3.5 hours to go 140 miles. So we're gonna put our 140 miles on the top. And how long does it take? It takes 3.5 hours. But we want to know how far you could go in 1 hour, or what's the speed. So to go from 3.5 to 1, I'm going to divide by 3.5. And what I do to my denominator, I have to do to my numerator to ensure that we have an equivalent ratio. So 140 divided by 3.5, crunch your numbers, that comes out to 40. So I can then interpret that 40 over 1 in terms of its unit rate. I can travel 40 miles in 1 hour. So my unit rate is 40 miles per hour. And you often see miles per hour because it's such a common measurement or a common unit rate. It has an abbreviation. You can do 40 mph, miles per hour. So whenever you see that, that's just the unit rate of how fast they're going. All right, and then we have lastly, sometimes you can have other comparisons of, volume to the amount of something. So 2 gallons of ice cream can make 22 ice cream cones. So we might want to know then, how much can you make in 1 gallon? So that would be the unit rate. So I'm going to set it up again as a ratio. So 22 ice cream cones per 2 gallons, but I want to know how much you can make from 1 gallon. So to go from 2 to 1, I'm dividing by 2. And if I divide my denominator by 2, I need to divide my numerator by 2. So that's going to make 11. So I can make 11 ice cream cones out of every 1 gallon of ice cream. So each gallon makes 11 ice cream cones. So there we go, another unit rate. Okay, that's it with unit rates.